Not letting go. Call this dude. Let me call this dude. Yo. Huh? What do you mean I'm on punishment? Okay. on it.
And the best partner is the one who can.
Join the Discord. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Sitting sideways, boys in the day. On a Sunday night, I might give me some head. What's the shit right now? Let's get it. Ah, shit. I gotta go work out. Let me go work out right quick. Oh, shit.
Hi, MP. I'm Tess. Welcome to the Gatorade training facility.
Nice to meet you, Tess. Hey, I want you to know I've been rocking with Gatorade since day one. So, I appreciate you having me here.
The pleasure is all ours. Everything we do here at Gatorade is in service to athletes like yourself. Our dedication to science helps us understand athletes' needs. And we believe we've designed all this with the help of the Gatorade Sports Science Institute.
Yeah, I've heard all about that. High-tech stuff.
It helps us provide you with the best research,
Thank you. First round. Call me Dill Pickle. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. I hate that sound it fucking makes though. Bro, you're gay. Albert with HIV? What the fuck? Oh, look at this. TikTok Siege. Let's look this dude up real quick. Siege. WTW. So nothing. Okay. Damn, bro, you in here or what? I can't hear you at all.
I'm loading in now.
Still can't hear you. And your volume's all the way up. Goat. No. Oh shit, no. Why? How do you get that shit, dog? There's mad cheaters up in this shit. That's what I was about to say.
Can you hear me?
Nope.
Can you hear me now?
It's getting better.
Getting better.
Yeah.
How about now?
That's a lot better.
That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Like the sound of my voice?
No. Fucking gay.
Now. Woohoo! You look. No, you look.
Yeah, there's some fucking dudes in here. Oh, they got all red at the bottom.
Can you slide in and jump at the same damn time?
Bro, I might go play fucking theater, dog.
Nigga, I'm loading in right now. Got a fucking quick graphic update.
What I'm saying, like, these motherfuckers is just... fucking red, dog. There she is. Come on, let's get on this court right here. Hurry up, dog. What you doing?
Nigga, I'm loading this still. Where you said get on right here? Where is right here?
Right here. Straight in front of you. You heard me?
15-4. Kobe. Kobe. Something. Shit. Yeah. Well. Wait, come on. Oh, yeah, I figured that. We don't do that. What you smoking crack? Damn, man.
That's why he's out there talking all that shit, because he out here smoking crack.
Yeah, we do that already.
Yeah, we knew it, but we was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, we wasn't. You might have, but I wasn't. I heard you was up.
I already knew. No, Angelo was like, no, that was Angelo trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm smoking crack.
He did to me. I already told niggas.
Dog, I always gotta get the fucking
I said,
dick
your
in.
brother, I said, Gino told me that. I said, nigga, don't call that nigga my brother. I had 3 brothers. If you want to be technical.
Yeah. No, I ain't hit that shit yet.
Pow, 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 pow. Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Oh, wow.
That shit out of here, dog. Fuck you think he's fucking with, dog? Come on, AR. You just made me look bad.
Oh, wow.
Damn. No, nah, you fucking passed me. Nope. Damn it.
Summertime.
You. Thank you. Ooh.
Oh, you catch me though.
He almost had him. Fuck. Dog, there ain't no way you're fucking making threes like that. Ain't no fucking way, dog.
I was only playing 2K.
I should have passed it back.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. How you doing? Bye.
Yeah, he wasn't getting that one. Where is he? This is why I hate being a big man.
Why did you dribble? Shoot the. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Come
bro.
on,
This is
AR.
fucking- I'm sorry, bro. Look, I made up for it.
Bro, guard this fucking dude, man!
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
Fucking
I'm not even
retard, dog! Ah, you got me.
got the shit out here. Don't dunk it. Don't dunk it. We need to stop. Yeah, I ain't doing shit. Yeah, I'm good. That's why I ain't figure out what he called. I knew he ain't want shit.
Bro, we stay fucking losing in casuals, dog. Hurry up, there's two right down here.
Yo. Damn, bro.
Oh,
Y'all
sound
so
so cool.
low. Oh, yeah, we're cooked.
Oh yeah, you're so.
Pray. Got a 71 3. Yo. Right here. I got TikTok. I don't even know how to say his name. Yoink. Hey! My bad, teammate. I saw you, casual gamer. I wanted to get that. Nice. Pass up.
I'm not fucking doing
Pass.
this tonight, dog.
Green. Oh, yeah. Bro, who got an echo?
Your mama.
Hey,
Now you learned something, didn't you? You using the fuck of that post fade, ain't you?
Brooklyn. Okay.
Oh my god, bro. I can't shoot now? Oh, we don't know. Stay there. Oh shit, wrong person.
Oh.
Oh
He's
my
making
god.
it white, bro.
This
What the
nigga
frick?
is.
Hey, just chill, AR. Just chill, okay?
Yo, casual gamer. Oh.
I'm right
Come on, bro.
there,
Play defense. No, you're not.
I played defense and I was right there.
You weren't, though. You were like how we are right now. Well, not right there. right now.
We need 2 stops.
Yo. Ain't no friggin' way. Green. Bro, I need to get my set shot specialist on legend, bro. Come on, I need some threes.
Oh my god, bro. Bro.
Give me. My god, bro. They won't let me get my legend badge, bro.
Bro, I can't.
48%.
It looks like it's gonna be a fucking quick night for me.
Come on, bro. Give me the ball once. Please, bro. I need it. Y'all can get game winner and everything. Thank you.
This nigga
Bro,
passed the
like,
ball.
come on, dog. What the fuck is everybody doing, man? This dude running
fucking
around
know.
with a chicken with like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. That was me.
Pass.
Oh,
Mm.
oh my god.
Brick. Damn, bro.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Come
God.
on, guys. What
Gimme,
the
gimme,
fuck?
gimme. Gimme.
Only reason why I passed it because I
You mean-
missed 3 shots already.
Okay.
But goddamn.
This shit's fucking wild, dog. Every fucking
I
time
got
we're gonna
you.
lose.
No, hop on again on my team. I got you.
Fucking wild, dog. I'm supposed to be the shitty player.
Damn. Yes, I got legend.
Who?
I got legend set
Cares.
shot special.
Stupid fucking kid.
Come on, bro. I'm locking in now.
Yeah, sure.
Come on, man. I'm just getting on the goddamn game. Come on, play.
And so am I.
I got legend set specialist. Green. Bingo. Holy, I'm shooting from logo. Oh. Watch this fade. Fader. Oh my god.
Oh.
You know, can I get the ball? Damn,
My bad.
this one. Look at these dribble moves. Ooh, green. Yo, no change? Wow. If you make the shots, I'm not giving you change. That's mine. Oh, I suck. Yeah. How are you 62nd in Oregon, bro?
Because you can't beat me one-on-one.
Yes, I could.
Dude, how is a level
try it?
99 on here?
You
Hey.
want to try it?
I kind of do.
Oh, we can.
Oh, damn.
We can go to Annie up, or we can go to my court. However way you want to do it.
Let's do Andy up 500 VC because I
Oh.
don't got VC.
That's awesome. I'm with it. I like that. And right after this match, we can go to Annie up.
Yeah, for me. Wait, which one are you?
Oh my god.
My bad. I saw you. Which one are you? Are you Ricky or are you?
Nah, he's AR.
I'm in this bitch.
Alright. Come on, bro. This is gonna be my first Annie up
I
game.
want to see that game, yo.
If you do, alright, friend me. Yo. I'm about to win. I gotta be a free 500 VC.
You say so.
If you say
It'll be like
so.
taking candy from a baby. Yeah.
You ain't getting that shit. I'm done with you, dog. Down or not?
Yoink.
It's alright.
He's got a point. He's got a point to prove.
Fucking
I
God, dog.
Yo.
Yeah, he's got a fucking point to prove.
You definitely.
Please get on this. My mom kinda. Ooh, I'm reaching.
I've seen it too.
That's not my man. I like how we're just not hitting the 99.
This dude is fucking playing now. Come on, dog.
My bad. I'm up in his
Fucking
face.
just selling.
Yo.
Nah.
I'm not zenning. I got a 62. Come on now.
Alright, who's fucking? Come on, man.
I
Alright,
don't
I'm
know
just
who
gonna
that
fucking
is.
stand here. Y'all can play. Jesus fucking Christ.
Smash back. Oh crap.
Come on,
that
man.
was a good shot though.
No, it wasn't.
That was a good shot. Don't listen to him. Keep shooting.
Look at wide open.
Come on, bro. Yo, you keep giving him the ball. That's the ball.
What? I made the shot though. Bruh.
What the fuck? He keeps stepping in front of it.
I was trying to stand here. Don't worry about it.
Yo. It's like you're you're like trying to. You gotta play up on that guy.
I'm not gonna lie. I just like passing the ball. I don't really care about scoring, bro.
Hey, is that Cam the same fucking thing as me?
Oh my god.
Well, I got you.
I'm the same way. I got 5 assists out this bitch.
I just like passing.
Bruh, I just touched his
I find
face.
you get more VC passing the ball. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Oh my god, bro. Oh. He didn't see it. So is he Brooklyn?
That is fucking Cam.
Go
I
AR!
did not get that steal.
Gimme.
You really did pass me the ball. You took like the last 35 reckless shots, bro.
Oh,
Come on, I got deep bomber. I got deep. Don't.
it's fine, bro.
No, it's not.
Basically, if they miss this shot, then we won. Shut up.
They didn't.
How is that wide
They didn't
open?
miss this shot.
Alright, wait, friend me. Let's do the one. Wait, are you in? Oh, he's a 92.
Oh, now he's like, oh, he's a 92.
No, I'ma still play. Friend me. Oh my god, bro.
Friend of
Stop.
me.
You really gonna play against the little boy, man? Take that nigga to VC?
Yeah,
All day.
they're gonna get VC. Fucking me. Hell
Wait,
yeah.
I might not have enough VC.
Oh,
We have
look
to
at
do-
nah, he ain't got enough. Nah, he ain't got enough.
Damn.
He ain't gonna go.
Hey man, how much VC you got? Alright, there you go. You got just enough. Come on. Hey, matter of fact, I might even let you get the first one. So that way you can play two. I ain't gonna take all your VC off the jump. I might even let you get the first one.
Yeah, you see this shit?
No, fine. You gonna get that one and then dip.
Where you at?
What am I looking at? I'm in the, on my way to Annie up, nigga. What you mean? Where you at?
Yeah, me and the same thing. Me and I gotta join you?
On my
or
way to
something?
Antioch.
I'm in front of Antioch. Oh, look at this.
Shit just crashed.
Sitting sideways, boys in the days.
Fuck anything, my game just crashed. Like, all the way crashed.
TikTok XG, whatever it goes.
That shit crashed.
What's up, bro?
Oh shit. Are you? Oh, you're in a fucking. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
But you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Shit, my boy. Follow me in the Annie Up. My boy is on TikTok too. Shit, we've been looking for a fucking third. Where you at, AR?
You got third?
Yeah, he's on TikTok too. Where y'all at?
Nigga, I told you my shit crashed. I said it twice.
Oh, your shit crashed?
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any up crowd on PC,
Give me an invite.
Nah, bro, I be on TikTok too, but I'm on like Kick, Twitch, Facebook.
Yeah, I just started a kid too.
Did you? Yeah, I'm streaming right now.
Trying to get on that Facebook.
Yeah, do I need to start streaming?
And start streaming, AR. There he is, right here.
Alright, where this nigga at? He wanted whooping for the 500.
I don't know. He added
Yeah.
me, but oh,
Friend of
he
motherfucker.
friend request.
You could do the jump with the shit, nobody got 10K. I got 10K.
Actually, there's 100 VC right there. Let's see if we can add this motherfucking kid. Is he in here?
Yeah, he's right. He's sending me fucking squad
Yeah,
invites like a motherfucker.
Yo,
There you go.
Where you at,
yo, I
kid?
can't. I'm at the 500 court.
Hey, you see his people over there. Come on, we're gonna
Oh, okay.
All right, so what are we gonna do then?
run these twos.
All right,
Where? I don't fucking see him. Oh, there he is. Is that him right there?
I'm in the white shirt. You see me, right? Gray sweatpants, one leg up.
Right here, right here.
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, I see you.
We doing 2v2?
I
Yeah,
mean,
might as well.
oh my god, bro.
Oh, there you go. We can run 3. No, we go 4. Nah, hell no.
No way, this guy has to hop off.
Gotta
Wait,
hop
me and Ricky Subi will be on a team, and TikTok and XD. TikTok and
Oh, fuck no. Fuck. I can't.
no, like,
You just want a big man, bro. You fucking me up.
wait, are you a big man?
No, but they normally put me as a fucking big man.
All right, then I don't
Shit,
know.
with these 4, bro, we could go run fucking What am I thinking
Wreck?
of? Wreck?
Wreck?
Yeah.
Alright, what's money shots? I can't hear him nowhere.
Who you
I
can't
don't-
hear?
What is
But
it?
I don't want to play. Wait, he switched to his center build. I think. I'm not sure. Oh, he switched back. Wait, I
He a
wanna. I
small-
want.
He a small forward.
No, it's fine. I'll play with them.
Play with him.
X.
Yeah.
Alright, well there's. Shit,
Then
y'all
you gotta
squad
wait
up.
two. Yeah. I'm gonna leave this and wait or TikTok.
I'm here, bro.
Let me friend you.
you selling, are you?
He sells.
Here, I've added you. I added you.
That nigga. Nah, he got a little shot. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he got a shot.
He got a little Zen shot.
What? Yo, I'm not zenning.
Yeah. He got a Zen shot.
See how every time he says I don't have a Zen shot, he starts smiling when he say it.
You can hear it in his voice too.
Alright.
How do you know?
See, look at he just gave it up right there.
It's just some shit that's just what's the word I'm looking for?
Man, you be putting this shit up and ching, ching, ching.
Bro, I'm not that good.
No, your Zen's just that good.
Yeah. We never said you was good. Just, the shot is good.
Hey, how you be using your Zen on here? Oh, over here, yeah.
Hello?
My name's Kodak White, but when you see me, I'm black.
What?
You're too young to know. Don't worry about it.
All I heard was Kodak Black.
But when you see me, I'm white.
God damn, I gotta go up against fucking ghosts.
I mean, throwing that black, but when you how you get 0.7 points a game? How does that even possible? Me.
Give me.
We let Memster just go at it or what?
Ooh. Hey.
Nah, you can play. It's just like. No! Alright, I gotta play lockdown now.
Damn, that was my bad. That was my bad.
Yo, pass.
Shut up, AR. I don't need you calling out. I never called out all that missed fucking shots you had.
You're right. I ain't gonna. Come here. Oh my god, I lost it. Come around. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Oh, hell no.
And he did the fucking baby chuckle dog, like.
Oh my god, bro.
AR, bro. What the fuck's going on?
No, my ball. No, give me it back.
No, my ball, nigga.
You're gonna make me mad.
I had to sit up. Nigga talking about what's going on and shit. Let me show you what's going on.
Oh
Hey.
my, come on.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Oh.
He pumped fake twice.
Yo, don't reach in,
Yeah,
man.
he pumped fake twice.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Green bean.
Don't worry, Ricky. We got enough VC for this.
Nah, bro. I ain't worried about fucking VC. I'm sick of fucking losing.
Well,
Like,
don't
that's
lose.
all we fucking do is lose, dog.
God damn, bro. He's dunking on both of you.
I'm a certified gunman, boys.
No,
What
fuck
the-
outta here.
Damn, bro. You're not giving the steal.
You start.
All right, I'm about to lock in, Rick. Let's go.
Shoot it. What? I'm on him though.
Did you see that? How small that green window was? I'm a certified rim runner.
Yoink.
Oh my.
How'd you get it back?
Right. Cause I'm fast as fuck, boy. Oh my god. Oh, that's how you set a screen. Oh. Come on.
Not gonna lie, that was a good screen. What?
Oh my god, I just dunked over him. Nothing for that pick?
Come back. Yeah. My guy. And I
God
missed.
damn.
Come on. AR, bro. Like, what the fuck is you doing,
I'm
G?
sorry, I missed. What the fuck?
What the freaking hell,
Yeah, how
bro?
you do that? Yeah, shit.
That boy had some popcorn before he got on.
No.
Oh my god.
Gee, you need to go play a few games by yourself first.
I can't. I'm get it. Don't worry about it.
I'm
Like,
so
I'm
good.
supposed to be the shitty fucking one. I got him.
Hey!
Don't worry about it, bro. I got it, yo. Even if we lose this
Yeah.
one, we'll get the next one. I
Yeah,
got
I've
it.
been hearing that for 2
I can't play the
games
next
now.
one. I gotta eat dinner.
I've been hearing that for 3 fucking games.
Nah, he don't care. He play for fun. I like the fucking play, dog.
Yo, yo, yo.
Bro, I don't play for fun. I play for my rank. It's my rank, nigga. Fuck you. I'm just having an off day right now. Oh my god.
What? He's been running, bro.
Shit, I broke your ankle, so might as well.
Hey,
Man.
that's not my. This is my first Annie-up game, so. Bruh. I'm literally in his face, bro. What the booty cheeks? Shoot it again. Holy. Spin off. Yoink.
Fuck, I'm trying to pass the motherfucker, man.
Come on. Yeah? Wait, it's one last play.
That was my last play.
Why is my shot meter not fucking up?
Gimme.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Fuck him up. Fuck him up.
How the fuck did you just glide?
He got a fucking high ass jump.
God damn, dog.
He probably boosted his shit to fucking legendary. So that's
Yeah, I
too
gotta
bad
go.
first.
See you guys.
It's time to space walk, boys. Y'all
Yeah,
trying to
right
run
when I was
threes?
just locking my. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
I don't know. I might go run ones.
No, fuck.
With
you
fucking
crazy
AR
dog,
playing
man.
today. God damn, dog.
Might go drop $20 on a bunch of boots. But we gotta send TikTok to it.
He's in the. Oh shit. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. I'm about to.
I gotta add him.
The boost real quick. This boost. Hell yeah. 2, 6, 9. Let me see.
Bro, I got like no boost.
Jump shots. Ball handle.
You on TikTok right now, AR?
I might as well. I'm about to start my shit up. I was bullshitting, but I'm about to start it up.
Is it the same as your gamer tag?
Yeah.
I don't need that actually.
About to go drop your follow, bro.
Hey, I got me a new fucking key. I just got me a new keyboard. This bitch sweet as fuck. All right, I just bought all the goddamn boots. 20K.
Yeah, we supposed to. That's where we're going out. Let's go play threes.
I'm on the way. I'm
Find
coming.
out TikTok real quick, though. Underscores and all, same?
Yeah, everything's the same, bro. AR in this bitch. The only thing is different is I ain't got TikTok in it, of course. It's just AR in this bitch. back. We're gonna find this nigga, Ricky. Ricky, where you at, yo?
I went in theater real quick to see what it was. What
Ain't nothing jumping with the
stop
three.
your opponent from scoring to earn a point for your team. 3v3, no squads. Where are we going around threes then?
From the park, man. What question is that?
Why? So you can miss shots there too?
You see, I just started locking in, dog. I just started hitting my shot.
Ain't gonna do him no good. You just followed him for no reason.
Bro, you know what?
Go ahead, say something.
I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. You got it. Go to the theater. Fuck it. I mean, not the theater. I'm gonna go to the park. Then we just lost dude too. Ooh, that looked like it hurt. No, yeah, I seen it. It was alright.
There he is right there.
Alright, well, let's find us. These niggas on a 7-game streak.
Yeah, there's a big head to the left too. I ain't fucking going there. Yeah, that motherfucker's cheating.
We got it, this one right here.
That's a 7-game win streak.
Yeah, nigga. Is that or we change servers? Or we can get on this one. That nigga gonna change servers. He's gonna change servers.
Nah, we just gonna fucking lose. Damn, it didn't even fucking change servers. We still in the same fucking server.
I'm in a new one now. Lord, I'm in a new one now. Yeah. We got a court all the way in the air. You kick this big head dude off. Oh wait.
Oh, let's fuck that up.
We all the way at the air. We're gonna try to kick this big head off. He's gonna kick our ass too. Probably bullshit.
Your ass off my court, bitch.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I think they got a TikTok. I don't know though.
Okay, this nigga #1 in Virginia. What part of Virginia?
Newport News.
Hell yeah, I just moved from Newport News. Bad news.
Man, it's real bad news, but it's alright. It's home, you feel me?
You on 7? Sound like you on 76th Street. What part of Newport News you at?
Like Deerfield, you know that?
Oh, that's uptown.
Yeah, near
I know
Number
it.
Street.
Near Ward.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I said. Yeah, I know exactly where it's at.
Where was you at, Turn?
Yeah, 36.
Oh, you was out there.
Yeah.
Just trapping.
I grew up on 17th Street.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here though. I can't lie, you can't have a life out here.
Yeah, I just moved from out of there. I came to Oregon.
Shit, I bet it's nice there, huh?
Hell yeah. So much better.
You don't gotta worry about dying when you step out the crib. It really is that bad though. He throwing steezies. Hey!
What's up, Pedro?
I didn't get that, bro.
That hurt. Good shot. That push peek's so good.
Nigga pushed me off.
But life, I thought you was for the good.
Yeah, that's what I went.
Nah, what's that? Yeah, let's play it. Me, you, and Slap.
Oh, that nigga is.
He clowning both of y'all.
Bro, he a slippery motherfucker.
Yeah, I was
I
pissed
got
at
glove
God's
on,
event,
legendary.
bro. I was fucking pissed. I crashed out at like an 18 game. Like my game crashed.
Wow.
Oh my god, I'd be pissed.
Look at that. Oh,
Yeah,
that
you
shit went
passed it
me.
through you. What the
That
hell?
shit went. Bro.
No, that was you all day. But we take those. Hey!
Wait, fuck that.
Shoo! My boy O-Block, nice with it. Stop playing.
Oh my god, bro.
Bro, passed at my feet. No, you can't control that. Chicken.
I missed.
Wide open.
Whoa, don't make fun of my man like that.
God.
No, I was.
Oh,
That's what I was saying.
Green.
You always want to pass the ball after I'm fucking done with it, dog.
That jump shot is broke.
Working right now. I don't know why.
You gotta pull it again, make sure it's working. What the? What the fuck is that?
Let me dunk it.
Hell no.
I don't
Yeah,
jump.
I hate that shit, bro. I tried shooting on my Kobe White. That's hoe. Green. Dunk that bit. Oh, I got you about to go crazy.
I need
Who-
to fix my jump shot.
Who's up next?
It's like
Yeah.
career mode coming up quicker than I thought.
Come on, man. God.
AR, you just said you was locking in, bro. You ain't do shit that game either.
Bro,
I look
was-
forward to you trying to help carry. Motherfucker, I'm out here giving passes and all that shit.
Carried us right to a loss.
That's why I can't even get my fucking shirt off. I've been in fucking level 2 for fucking a month and a half now. No, that's all I want. I don't give a fuck after that. Be straight losing.
It ain't worth it for real.
Yeah, I got 66.2% till rookie fucking 3.
You almost there, my boy.
Fuck you.
Hey,
You
that was
better
dope.
go grind, rain, and break, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro. Use some of these XP points. Use some of them XP tokens I know you got. Come close to the shit so we can.
No, cause I ain't trying. I want to do it when I'm fucking winning. We about to go into a fucking 3-game streak, fucking shit.
Get the one behind us. They 319. Where you wanna go to?
I don't fucking know, dog. Everywhere we go, we gotta lose. Yeah, don't fucking complain.
Fuck, dude, my vape's dead.
Oh, that's the worst, dog.
I'm so pissed right now. I gotta go to the other. Yeah.
Don't worry.
I gotta go to the
I
other room.
just hit mine for you, bro.
Here, I hit mine too. Fuck it.
I got you, bro. Hit mine.
Hey, fuck you guys.
Gotta support the cause, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was so fast. My bad.
$1. $1.
Understand why
Ooh.
Oh my god.
And I missed.
Okay.
Hey,
Bro, come on, man. I don't understand why I keep fucking.
Patty Mills.
I'm done.
Yep.
I'm fucking done. I'm done.
Hey, I thought you bought jump shot.
I did buy jump shot boost. That's the thing about it.
I
bought
told
jump
you you
shot
bought
boost
that shit for no fucking reason.
You did say that.
You don't gotta switch me on screens right now. Unless you want to. If you want to switch, we can do it. Just...
That's what I know.
Oh, wrong pass. My bad.
Oh my god.
Just take it. Just take it.
Boy, trying to hurry up and end the game. We got
Yeah,
We should have take 40K DC.
20K.
Bro, get the fuck off it.
Yo, this nigga went through me, man.
Yeah.
I can't shoot. I'ma pass that bitch.
Nice.
Oh God. Bro, why are my icons wrong, bro? Why are you B?
Pass act, that might be wrong.
That's crazy.
Bro.
Yep, get off the game. Get off the game. Get off the fucking game.
I am.
Get off the game.
Oh, I blocked it. What the fuck happened to my shot?
Both of y'all need to get off the fucking game. God damn.
No, come back here.
Bullshit, dog. I can't shoot for shit. That's just pissing me off.
That's crazy that I didn't fucking go up and dunk like I wanted to. Bro. What the fuck? Alright. My career, here I come.
Hey, Ricky and 5, boys. Ricky and 5.
What the fuck going on with my shot, man?
Yeah, bro. Put a PM, bro.
Shot, yo. Fuck this. Animation.
That dude goes trash too.
Oh my fucking dude.
And see, I do got double XP fucking tokens, but I don't want to use them bitches now. Hey, if you put double XP tokens on, you can do that for my career too, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I know you don't want to play no more. I know this guy's a foot open though. I'm about to hop on this bitch. Try this shot out. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What the fuck? Bro, are you fucking serious, bro? This shit just kicked me off.
Yeah, and I tried to back
Bro.
out and it wouldn't let me.
Bro, that's crazy, dog. That shit just kicked me the fuck off, man.
Damn, level 30 in Thailand. That's what's up.
I did it again. Oh, grandpa, my nigga grandpa.
Oh, these motherfuckers got 2 centers. Damn.
I got
my nigga grandpa.
Aw, you bitch.
Oh, these niggas ranked number 1.
Ugh.
Oh my god. I know these niggas on the street. Oh my god.
Wait, what? Why would you give me the ball? Where? Are you okay?
That's crazy.
I really don't know if my team's okay. Oh, I definitely know my team's not okay.
Oh, come on,
I
man.
don't like that when I get an offensive rebound and I turn around and my teammate is standing literally up my head. My passion is up, like up my ass. Like,
Down. Bro, what the fuck was that, dog? Fucking sellout.
Oh man. Bro, chill. We're up ahead. We're in lead.
What the fuck? A dumbass shot. We could have been in the lead even more.
Yo, chill. Sorry. I was just wondering if it would work. I didn't know if it'll actually work. I didn't know you could shoot it from the ground. Yeah. Thank you.
Get that shit out of here, dog. I don't give a fuck how big you are.
Alright.
Thank you.
Good foul. Oh my god, bro. Hello? No, sir.
Get that shit out of here. Oh, nope, that fucked that up. I fucked that up.
You?
AR, that's crazy. I win with fucking randos, bro.
Everybody's playing with randos.
I wasn't.
Man, either I'm fucking drunk or I never seen no shit that bad before in my life. That shit,
yeah, that.
I was lagging on the first 2 minutes. That was awful. That was fucking. You couldn't make that up. Again.
That right there. Yeah, I
Blue
know.
type shit. I did talk to Tess. What the fuck? So you get way more rep when you win.
Oh my god, bro. What the fuck is up with the pump fake, man?
You trying to kiss me.
I've lost every single game.
I didn't.
I mean, I just got off work. My fourth game I lost so far. Nah, it's me tonight.
Huh?
I can't shoot shit.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm on a circle. I'm on a
In that
circle.
schedule?
I'm on a circle. Oh, missed it.
That didn't work today.
To the floor.
Type shit.
Hey, just in time. There we go. That's what I need.
Bro, lit. Yeah, let's get it. Brody, lit.
Hey, y'all be careful. AR likes to sell out.
AR does sell.
So these nuts in your mom mouth. Oh my god.
This dude's fucking selling. I can see it already.
Bro, give me the ball, nigga. Green. Got you.
On that.
Oh, here we fucking go.
Yeah, nigga.
He still missed it.
Oh.
Away. Green.
Dog, what the fuck? Ball hog, that's why.
God.
Damn. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, he missed.
What?
Oh yeah, get
Fast, right here.
Get,
you wasn't getting that shit, bitch. Shut up.
Bitch.
Alright, my fault.
AR, shut up, dog.
I tried it.
Ooh, see, you didn't want to go there. Ooh, what?
Hey?
Bro, that was fucking white, dog.
Hall of Fame diamond, bro.
Oh shit, that was me.
Oh my. Oh my.
Nice reach-in foul, bitch.
Hey, whatever works. I gotta make up. I gotta make up.
Hey!
You heard me? Ah, Grandpa, stop reaching in, dog.
Oh, keep reaching, Grandpa. Yo. Oh, come on. Believe in
Get
me.
busy.
Why are you leaving him wide open, dog?
That's why, because I can't fucking shoot.
Now we know that.
Alright, I'm not reaching. We didn't lose that.
Oh my god. Why am I playing with bums?
Corner.
This nigga making shit. What the fuck?
You hear me?
Ass. I break this nigga. On. Ooh.
Come here. Come on.
Fucking weird.
Good. That jumper is weird, but good.
Ah, fuck that up. That was me.
down.
Right here, right here.
That was
On
me.
him. Jump. Good boy.
Your ass!
Fucking missed! I'm bad.
Bro, no, he's selling, bro.
I'm not, bro. I'm really not.
I told you in the beginning he was selling.
Yeah, he just sold our bread. We lost. You're a bum! Fuck are you passing it to, my nigga? Alright, bro, yeah, he a bum.
Nah, the fucking dude in the jersey's a bum on our team.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Go!
Give me the dang ball, Cavaliers, little bell.
Ah!
See what I mean? You just let him fucking go by like that, dog? Down, 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 down. Come on, Grandpa's fucking wide open. This dude's selling the fuck out, dog. Bro, you selling the fuck out, dog.
You doing? Yeah, this nigga's a bum. I
Fuck
play with
out of
bums.
here. Hey, AR, that's 2, my boy.
Bitch.
You still can't beat me one-on-one, dog.
Yeah, okay. We could go run it.
Even with, let's go. Even with me not being able to shoot, nigga, you still can't beat me.
You trash.
Play me one-on-one, motherfucker.
I'm playing with randos and I'm beating you.
Play me one-on-one, motherfucker.
With randos, I'm beating you, dog.
You right. I'm having
I
a
know.
bad night.
I know.
Wait till this motherfucking pill kick in.
Oh, this motherfucker put his little guy. Wow, you bitch ass dude.
He ain't running with me no more.
You said what?
That nigga ain't running with me no more.
No, faded.
Yeah. Alright, I can hold the front row.
Oh, if that was dude was gonna jump on, I was gonna jump the fuck off.
The grandpa actually
No.
pretty good.
No, not Grandpa, that other fucking dude.
Grandpa's actually on my friends list.
Huh?
Well, Grandpa's on my friends list. Me and him played 2K25 together.
Grandpa trash too.
Oh, you ain't? You alright?
I'm better.
I noticed you goddamn, you've been putting your post, you've been putting your cat breakers on your post, huh? You got a nice little post. You got a nice little post made all of a sudden.
You heard me, my boy?
I don't know where it came from.
You
I don't
know,
where you got it
I'm
from.
doing a little something here and there.
Let me look.
Doing a little something, nothing crazy. And that's not, it's crazy because my close shot ain't even up at all.
Let's see. Your post shot ain't up neither.
Yep.
Post control ain't up neither. Post control only on the 50.
Yeah, and that's maxed out. My close shot's at 26 right now. It could be up to 65.
You put your attributes on speed with ball. That's weird.
You what?
You put your attributes on speed with ball, and that's weird.
I did what you told me to do.
I ain't tell you to put speed with ball. I told you to put it on post control. I definitely didn't tell you to put it on speed with ball. I'll never tell you to put it on speed with ball because you can upgrade that doing fucking working it out in the gym.
I don't think I
Speaking
did
of
that.
which,
Hold
I
on.
need to start doing.
Progression.
I told you to do post control.
Cat breakers. I
Put
put
that
one.
bitch on speed with ball. Yeah, you
Can't take it
supposed
back
to
now.
put that bitch on- Fuck no, you're supposed to put that bitch on the post. That's why I thought you was making them bitches like that. Cause you would have put it on post control. That bitch would have been on a 60. I got a shooting guard. That's fucking unstoppable.
My next attribute, I'll do that. Or my next thing, I'll do it.
What's the score? What's the score?
I don't know. Fucking playing with my shit. 10-12.
Yeah, I see it now.
I'm waiting on my fucking crew to.
Shit, me too. My crew got down. We moving so fucking
As soon as we
slow.
get this 21, we hit level 22. I got another cat breaker.
I got a cat break on our next one
And
at 15, but these niggas ain't fucking playing. I picked the wrong crew.
Level 30. We got another cat breaker. Oh, he's got the fucking center, dog. I hate that fucking center.
I'm going against AR. Oh, now I gotta slap down. R. I gotta go crazy.
Damn, bro, I was trying to roll a blunt still. Fuck.
I'm getting started. In 5, 4, 3,
I gotta go
2,
first.
1.
They got two fucking centers.
Bro.
I had to mute that motherfucker, dog. He's loud as fuck.
That nigga is loud. This nigga is yelling my name.
God damn, dog. Get that shit out of here. Stop reaching. Down, 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 Grandpa, down. Oh my God, dog. Of course you're gonna fucking give me the ball when I got a center next to me.
Oh, you was yelling down, so I got it. I got it.
Good D.
My hero.
Hero in your mouth.
Good shit.
Hey, Shua, I had added you too, because I saw your fucking level 99.
Oh man, like he's so far out there. He's like Neptune. He's like the planet Pluto.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Early and you still fucking made that?
Niggas hollering my motherfucking name and shit. Give me that.
That
Give me
shit out of here, dog. Come on, dog. I can't fucking guard everybody. Shoot, you gargling my nuts right now, dog. Dead ass.
Shut the fuck up. I bet you do. Your mama want me too. Your mama want me too.
Oh wow. Bro, why are you gonna
One more.
you gonna pass it when I got shit?
Oh my
Oh,
god,
here
I
we
didn't
go.
mean to do that, man.
That shit out of here, dog.
That's what I
That
was
shit
doing.
out of here. Whose guy is this?
Yeah, pick that shit up, nigga.
That shit out of here.
Get out of here, nigga. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You said it right. My teammate.
Come on, dog.
Look at this shit, nigga.
Oh my god.
Tell me that shit, nigga. I'm there. I got you, Rick. Come here, come here.
Open, 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 open. Or
Oh,
not.
my bad, wrong person.
It's alright. I just been getting boards and all that shit this entire game. Use me as a fucking rag doll. That shit out of here!
Get out of here, nigga!
That shit out of here!
You're a pussy, Ricky!
You suck!
That shit out of here.
I'll show you a pussy. Pussy gonna be on my dick. And it's gonna be your mom's.
That pussy sore. That pussy sore.
Down.
Oh, I missed. Fuck.
Got it.
You got it. Ooh,
How did he get the ball back?
Cause I'm a fucking G, dog.
The ball back.
See, right there, AR.
You got that dunk? We can have that little dunk. Get that shit over with.
Why is everybody over here? The fuck off my court, faded! Bitch ass
Ricky,
dude!
you a bitch.
Bitch ass
You still
dude!
a bitch.
Bitch
You
ass
still a
dude!
bitch.
I'ma
You still
slap
a
your mom
bitch.
on my dick tonight because you talk shit, bruh.
No,
I
you won't.
fucked her up.
I can't find her. And you find her. I can't find her.
Puss asshole.
Find her. I can't find her, bitch.
Yeah. Don't worry, she in my bed right now, motherfucker. Suck my nuggets.
I can't find her. I can't find.
Man, stop fucking playing with me.
Hey, yo, that was a good. Hey, boy, that was a good fucking game. They can't take that one from you. You rocked out on that one. That was a hell of a keeper.
I don't even know what I fucking. Can you look up what we just played? That was fucking good, dog. Like I was beating the shit out them fucking dudes, dog. Like for real. Hold on. Oh, I'm not eligible? Fuck. I went up.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm not even eligible to play down there.
Gonna run these ones real quick?
Hooper? God damn, dog. I would go up to a Hooper. That's fucking bullshit.
You been hooping?
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm having a good game. Or a good day. I ain't gonna lie though, I put these cap breakers up and I seen a change like in my game. I'm starting to like it. I wish you could buy cap breakers. You can't buy cap breakers?
Hell no.
No, I'm fucking. Hey, don't let me hold you up, dog. Go on. Do your thing on casual. Wow.
What the fuck you about to do?
Probably gonna play
Probably
fucking.
run these ones, nigga.
Nah, I ain't doing all that. I had a good game, or a good fucking day. I ain't trying to fuck it up.
By running by a 1v1 with me? Against me?
Yeah, cause you gonna talk shit the entire time. You gonna piss me off.
I won't say nothing.
Nah, I'm good. You got it. I'm a pussy?
Hell yeah, you're a pussy.
Damn, dog. That's crazy.
You wanna go to theater?
Good. Try it. Trying to get this fucking shirt off. No,
We know when you're in theater. I'm just going to
what's Pro-Am or Pro?
We don't have a Pro-Am team. We don't have a Pro-Am team, or we don't have. We might do Proving Ground, but I doubt if anybody even be in there.
I'm about to go in the theater now.
Let me know when you're in there.
I got 11 wins in the theater. I'm in.
For real. Like them niggas don't. Do it right at me. When I'm in Miami on whip. Squad invite. Squad invite.
Oh shit. It won't let me send the squad invite. Oh, there we go. I sent you it. Squad. Yep. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, this junk is D3s, though. Yeah, so they shooting D3s in this bitch. But we should get some wreck, though. Just, nah, I can't even say trust me, because I've been off. I'm gonna trust you.
Oh, no. Oh, we ain't doing that shit.
What? Trusting you?
We ain't trusting me. No, we ain't.
I wonder when I put my next cap breaker on. I think I'm gonna put it on steel.
Put on these nuts.
Ah. I should have shot it. No!
Damn it. Get to do that. Ah, mother.
That's mine. That was me. I'll take that.
Ah, mother. Ooh, wow. That was scary.
That was scary.
Oh. Your mama.
Good that nigga in the face with it. Way to go. Where you at? Ooh, oh my god. Oh my god.
That's where I'm at. What the fuck? I was trying to pass it to you. Down. Oh, that's me. Fucked up. My bad, dog. Oop. Get the fuck out of here, dog. Get the fuck out of here. There's no fucking way he got that. Bitch ass dude. See, how can you get over him? That's wild, dog.
I'm like that, nigga.
Shut up. You ain't been like that all fucking day.
I'm like that, nigga.
You haven't been like that all fucking day.
4 point. 4 point. Come back. I missed. I'm on that. You got him back. Oh, get your man. Come on. Defense, I'm here. Stay back. I'm up. Green.
Oh, come on. AR, bro. What the fuck are you doing?
You seen that shit pump fake twice, bro. I wasn't going to do the same mistake I made too.
You didn't pump fake twice. You pump faking it just cuz.
They pump fake twice. I hit the button, watch it. Pump fake twice.
Oh my god. Come on, dog.
Bro, it's 4-19, man.
It don't matter, dog. We've
back.
been fucking up and see, look it. What
I'm gonna get it back. We'll get it back.
See what I'm... Look it, dog. Come on. Come on, dog.
Told you I was gonna get it.
I think you be doing this shit for clips, dog. For real. I really be thinking you be doing this shit for clips. Like, goddamn.
I wouldn't do that to you, bro.
It seemed like it.
He said, I think you be doing this shit for clips.
Who sent me a fucking...
What did it say?
TikTok XD Ghost sent me something. He left us, man. Fuck that. He don't want to win. Fuck.
Hey, bro, these niggas number 11.
I don't have 0 points per game.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Believe it.
You believe it. ain't gotta do all that spinning shit.
Yeah, why he over there fucking backflipping and
Aw.
shit. Woo.
Nigga. Woof. Oh yeah, he crazy.
My God, get up. Help him up, help him up, help him up. Okay.
What the fuck was that? That was wild.
Oh.
AR, you guarding them from like the back? The fuck? I was right fucking there, dog. That's crazy.
The coverage was open.
What's our streak right now?
So is he. So is he. He was open too, AR. You can tell him he was open.
I got dunked on.
Oh, we on?
No, you didn't get dunked on. You got fucking beat.
Ooh,
and you just. What happened there?
He cooked. Oh.
Here we go. Every excuse in the book.
I didn't say nothing. I just said, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You just here for the ride, y'all. Damn, boy.
I don't give a fuck.
I do, damn. Damn. Button mashing.
Man, I'm following suit. Fuck it. My boy swing, I swing too.
Scared to
I'm
take
going
it
out
down.
swinging, all right. Shit. Oh, fuck up.
Back. Oh, no. Okay, do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. What? Oh, he's going to. Oh, see, it's a shit trick. I might just leave hold what I tell my mama.
No.
That's fucking bullshit. Every time I fucking do that and get ready to pass, it won't fucking let me.
Got him.
No, you don't.
It's our ball, though.
Oh, come on, bruh.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing?
Your mama.
You weird. You ain't get no food.
That's why you wasn't shooting it, though, right?
Right here, right here.
That's why you wasn't shooting it, though, right?
I just want to fuck with you, bro.
AR.
Bro, I had it. I had it, bro.
Alright,
I had
bro.
it. Mighty right.
I'm over here fucking doing work.
Nah, shit, boy.
Bro, I'm working too.
I got 8 points on you, boy.
I got more assists. I mean, I got more rebounds than you.
What work, boy?
That was cute.
You won.
What cute?
To everybody. Dirty. You not dirty.
I missed one shot. I missed one shot. I got 3 assists and 2 rebounds. You just got a steal and a block.
Damn, on me. He really did get carried.
No, we.
You carried that nigga, man. Get you a new teammate, bro. Maybe you'll win.
Suck my dick, bitch.
I'm not talking about you, nigga. You trash.
Your
Hey,
mama.
Yar, get a new teammate.
Look, I was hit. Look. Oh, wait, niggas, I want to come back. Nigga swinging. What the fuck?
Oh, come on. I didn't want to go back into this shit.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Because we ended up fucking losing, dog.
So you right.
Alright, I'm telling you what. If I say some dumb shit towards you, you know. Alright. This shit fucking wild. And we should see we're with the same motherfuckers, dog. Nah, see, you did this bullshit. I ain't fucking with you no more, dog. I'm done. You played this shit funny.
Bro, how am I supposed to know that we're gonna get the same niggas again? Come on, let's be realistic about it.
Everybody knows we're going right up.
Let's be realistic about it. You know how many fucking times we got the same fucking people over and over again in this shit?
Bro.
Oh my god. Alright. Don't put me back in this shit, dog. I'm not playing this shit no more. Oh, that's cool. I just fucking lagged. Like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I lagged like a motherfucker too.
Why do I keep lagging when I go around this fucking dude? Alright, I'm gonna play fucking. I'm gonna play career mode, dog. Yeah, that's why you fucking.
Yeah, right. Or they're playing with him and shit. Stop teasing him.
Ah!
Wow, then he went right through me. He went right through me.
You bitch ass dudes, dog.
Oh, how are they going right through me like that, man?
I ain't getting fucking nowhere in my rep level. Proving Grounds got 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 5v5.
What the fuck, late? Late?
When you support St. Jude's through your company employee giving program, you can help make cures possible for kids with cancer. To learn more, visit stjude.org/employee giving.
Oh my god, these niggas off still. I'm just playing the game, bro. You know, chilling.
Where you at?
I'm on a what server? Damn. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't get on that.
Oh, that was a steal. What the fuck? I don't care about none of that, bro. Playing the game. Come on, G, you gotta step up a little bit closer, my guy. A little bit closer. Oh. Oh. Damn. Oh. Coming to you. Damn. Coming to you. Oh, I'm going in. Ah. I'm on that. What the fuck, bro? That's a nice thing. Yo, he's a good big man. I like him. See you with the threes. Yeah, these niggas OD with the threes. These niggas zenning or something.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Wasn't about to run all the way down there, especially when I knew you were just gonna shoot this goddamn three. Come on, come on.
Up your ass. Hey, this is who we need right here. Kung Fu Panda? Where you at? Where you going?
Where the hell you at?
Over here where you were just at. That Kung Fu Panda dude.
Yeah, you don't want to go over there, bro. Them niggas packed there. Them niggas literally made every fucking three. Don't matter if he was in their face or not.
There's two right here. There's two right here.
They was making spinning threes. Fucking step back threes. Curry slide threes. What the fuck? Bro, we're in the Brazil,
What's up, my nigga?
yeah, we're in the Brazil
What's
server.
good?
You
What
gotta get up out of here. You gotta get up out of here.
TikTok. Fuck you, you TikTok. Understand, bro?
Damn, he said fuck
No,
you
man.
there.
Yeah, fuck you. You understand this?
Understand a heck?
Understand?
A heck.
Green.
You understand that?
Right
Huh?
back at
You understand that, papi?
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Oye, loca! Ven pa' acá! Oh, you bitch.
O gringão maluco. O gringão dos moves. Primo God, né? You live em TikTok, bro? You live em TikTok?
You speak English, motherfucker.
You live em TikTok?
Don't say cheeky. Look at you on my nuts, dog. Skirt. Skirt! You live with Chicky Doggy? Oh, you reaching in, bitch.
What?
Eee, you crazy, bro?
That's crazy, dog.
He's
Didn't even
kick your
do
ass,
anything.
bro. He's kick your ass.
How the fuck do you know where I'm going, dog?
That nigga.
Get shit out of here.
Oh my god. Give me that. How's he wide open? He was right there.
Oh, I was open. Get the fuck out of here. Like, how do you catch up to me?
Ah, eu talk too much, nigga. Eu talk too much.
Shut up, bitch.
You talk too much, bro.
Your mama.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Bye
You
bye.
cheating,
Bye
bro.
bye.
I'm reporting
Bye
you.
bye.
Don't worry.
Nice
I'm reporting you, my boy.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
my friend.
reporting
Nice
you
to
for
meet
cheating.
This is Brazil, bro.
You're a cheater, pendejo.
I'm getting out of this server. There's nothing but Brazil motherfuckers in here. They all.
I'm
doing
going after that motherfucker. Whatever his fucking name is. Yeah, MD. I got you, MD. Cheating ass bitch. I'm reporting you, bitch, motherfucker. Where the fuck is he at? Go ahead, lead the fucking server. I dare you to. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck? Offensive language. Yep. And cheating. And hold on, what's his name? SNSO? I got you too, my boy. I got you too, my boy.
Just load up for me.
What is this game fucking tripping? I gotta pee.
Get on the spot.
You said what?
Better hurry up and get on the spot.
I'm in the other room.
It's 9-0. You get on the spot and go back to the other room. I'm about to goddamn run upstairs real quick.
Out of what? You said what, homegirl? I can't get on that fucking court, dog.
Put down.
I'm not eligible. Go ahead, run it. I'll go play fucking career.
You can't get your shirt off like that.
Yeah, I know, but we ain't fucking winning nothing.
Sure.
Oh, there's two down here. Ah, they're about to go to it. Are they? Nope. Still 2 spots. Nope. Never mind. Only 2 spots. Yeah, but I ain't playing the fucking MVP. Yeah, how am I supposed to win? How am I supposed to get my shirt off when we ain't winning shit? It ain't doing nothing for me. I got an 88.4. I'm 8-31 win-loss record. That's fucking trash, dog.
Nigga, man, somebody gotta do this nigga cheater.
Yep, the big head.
What's up for dinner tonight?
I might take home one of the chicken strips from here. I don't know. I was thinking.
Won't those get soggy?
I got an air fryer. Crisp them right up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I might have to buy these all.
No, that was a 2.
Empty in the house.
You gotta make somebody fall. Whether it be a 3 or a dunk. Oh man, what the fuck? How many only made a TikTok video. I made put some TikTok video. It might not be how you want though. Oh, that's way off.
Coming up next, the Grizzlies taking on the... When it comes to these two teams, Griff,
Oh my
you
God.
have to expect they'll be relying on their front courts to get it done here.
Yeah, I think that's right, BA. It should be an old-fashioned battle amongst the bigs. And whoever gets the edge in that matchup, I think gets
Another bucket. Wow.
an elite talent already in just his rookie year. He's now third all-time for rookie point production.
He's showing elite level skill. Very uncommon to have this sort of talent right out of the gates.
Back.
6 on the shot clock. SGA finds Hartenstein. Gilgeous Alexander from outside. Excellent D there from Morant. And here's Memphis. This is a team that simply refuses to lose. They've won 29 games in a row and want to keep this incredible streak going.
Look, you're talking about some of the all-time great teams in the history of the NBA to have a win streak of this magnitude. Gonna be fun to see if they can add one more here tonight.
And SGA gets it to go.
And the D can't allow Gilgeous Alexander to get this positioning, because once he does, he makes you pay.
And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has
Oh my
made the
God, I
move
can't
from star to
Come on,
superstar.
dog. Dang.
Well, no question, BA. He's been a superstar for quite a few seasons now, but he's not satisfied and just continues to elevate his game year after year.
Dort, the pass to Holmgren. Dort outside. Oklahoma City's got to hurry. They got to get up a shot. And Holmgren
Wow.
on the assist from Hartenstein.
Get a fucking center, get a three.
Man, is he fun to watch operate off the catch.
From MP sends it home from three-point land. MP's got 6.
And both teams running long-range plays that are working.
Well, you know it's become a three-point shooting league. Teams shooting a steady diet from outside.
Hartenstein against Edey.
That's crazy.
13 feet out. Second chance shot. And Edey with a block.
Well, at the rim, Edey's the guy you have to beat. No chance there.
He just rises up and throws it down hard.
Such a go-to move for him. He holds nothing back on those. Memphis making a switch here. Jerome's checked in. All right, on the line, we've got our insider, Shams Charania. What do you have for us, Shams?
Well, the Grizzlies made multiple moves over the last year to free up salary, and they put it to good use this summer with extensions for Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama, not to mention signing free agent guard Ty Jerome. Now, trading away Desmond Bain hurt, but this team should continue to be a factor.
They play with swagger. Okay, Shams, thank you. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Allie LaForce.
Well, MP in the last matchup against the Wizards was outstanding. He had an unbelievable amount of points, and it's the most physical he's been on the glass this season. He was clearly on a mission, and no one was getting in his way. A flat, dominant performance.
That's fucking
Well, it'll be interesting to see how much of that performance
Bro,
carries
you
over
got
into
Ja
this one.
Morant. Why the fuck am I taking this shit out?
Whatever the team needs from him on that particular evening.
Well, I'm sure he's coming in with a lot of confidence after. Last game, he wants to have a repeat performance here tonight.
The three from Holmgren. Memphis with a rebound. And they've been winning at a high level this season. Most games not even close. Their point differential is sky high.
Man, what do I want to eat?
Essentially over by the third quarter. Blowouts, big margins.
No, you already had
astonishing the dominance they displayed over
Little
the rest of the
testicles.
season. I'm not sure we've ever seen a team so consistently dominant.
And so Mark Dagno will call a timeout. He's going to talk it over with his guys. So Oklahoma City ends up going with a new group. Then for Memphis, Clark is checked in for Edie. Aldama comes in for Jaren Jackson Jr. And it's Pippen in for...
I really want a baked potato.
Caruso pass to Williams. The Thunder with another miss. And so MP will bring it up for the Grizzlies.
I want barbecue.
It's a 10-point game. Last time they met was in Memphis.
They flat out dominated the last time these teams squared off, particularly on the glass.
What?
Yeah, but they can expect a whole lot more
Bitch ass
resistance
bald
this time around.
motherfucker, dog.
No team likes to lose a rebounding battle.
And here are the Grizzlies. They're on an
18-5
run. And here's MP from outside. And
Fuck!
He didn't make them pay for that weak defense, but they just can't rely on him to miss those
Hey, AR,
shots.
you like Wendy's?
Outside, Williams.
I like chicken nuggets from Wendy's.
Wendy's nuts on your mouth.
Got it. 1 for 1 to start the game.
Well, that's easy pickings for him. Unless the defense is all over him.
Shit, Wendy's got a baked potato.
All day long.
A nice shot by MP.
Right.
12 straight points off threes. This defense is not extending very well.
Now
So, yeah,
5 seconds
we'll get
separating
some
the
baked
shot clock and the
potato
game clock.
from Wendy's.
Pass to Wallace. The 3 is
Huh.
up. First shot won't go.
You hear me, Rick?
What?
To the paint. Here's the
We'll get some baked potato from Wendy's. You ever got a baked potato from Wendy's?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're fat, so yeah, you probably will get a baked potato. You probably get the chili too, huh?
Here we go. Bro, you probably have
What?
ramen noodle soup in your diets. Shut the fuck up.
Hell yeah, I got ramen.
I know
And
you
early
do.
on, they've been on a tear. Just getting
You don't
whatever
eat them
they
because you're a
want
fucking
offensively.
CO.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly
I actually do.
how
I
you
eat a
start
brick.
game with a big offensive push.
And so it's Memphis.
Hell yeah, I'm in
a sizable
prison
lead
playing.
of 14 at the break.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot, dog. This dude said I'm in prison playing.
For Oklahoma City. The Grizzlies also with a sub. MP's checked in for Clark.
No,
Here's
you got a little
Wiggins.
money, you can get
He's
anything
averaging
in
about
federal
6 points
prison.
per game. Here's Joe. Pass to Wiggins. Shoots over Jackson. Oh, it's blocked by Jackson.
Well, this is the level of rim protection you get. with
God
Jaren
damn!
Jackson Jr.
Fucking missed that.
He takes pride in being this team's defensive anchor.
On the court right now for the Grizzlies. We've got Jaren Jackson. Ty Jerome is out there with Scottie Pippen Jr. Then there's Santi Aldama. And it's MP in at the 3. The small
Now, you know
forward.
what?
Just 5 on
Baconator
the
does
clock.
sound pretty good.
And there's a pick.
The what?
Baconator.
Here's Caruso.
See?
Releases from the
You're
wing
welcome.
and drills it.
Yeah, tons of ways Caruso can
I'm not
beat
gonna
you
get
with
it,
the
though.
ball in his hand.
Yeah, you will.
MP outside.
That was a crazy shot, cuz. I ain't gonna lie to
They're
you.
getting torched on the perimeter. 4 of the last 5 buckets have
Got
been
me
threes.
dunked on.
Thunder trail by
Hey, but tell me
15.
I haven't stepped up my fucking game.
You did. You did.
Right side Joe. On
You
the
play
wing,
this shit a lot
Caruso.
better than you play 2K25. It's because I made you do for you. You do
Back
it
to
to
Joe.
you do
Puts up a
everything.
3. Memphis with a rebound.
And they're plus 5 on the boards
Hell
after
yeah,
that
awesome.
rebound.
And despite their
Bro,
historic
I'm
regular season
fucking playing
success,
the game,
OKC
man.
still had their doubters around the league grant.
Yeah, BA, and it was verging on disrespect if you ask me. But youth and inexperience counted against them. Now, they knew their true test would come in the playoffs, and they passed it with flying colors, taking home the championship.
I want to hear from Allie Force.
Well, in an era of title or bust thinking, it's noteworthy that the grit and grind Grizzlies of the 2010s are properly celebrated. While they never made it past the Western Conference Finals, their physical style,
me hit.
built
Hey,
around
let me
Zach
hit.
Randolph, Marc Gasol,
Why y'all
Tony
niggas
Allen,
ain't let
and
me
Mike Conley, built a lasting legacy in Memphis. Back over to you, Ryan.
Yeah, these niggas ain't passed the
And I
ball
like
for
the Williams
shit.
works in these mid-range areas. I mean, such an impressive scope.
Jesus Christ.
And here's MP from outside. Knocks down the long J.
Hey.
MP's got 11 here in the quarter alone.
I just love the ball movement.
Caruso, pass to
Man.
Wiggins.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Pass to Williams. Right away, they match it with a three-pointer of their own.
Timeout.
Williams
Hall of
started
Fame
second
diamond,
bucket
bro.
of the night.
I got Hall of
Shot
Fame
that
diamond.
Williams continues to work on. You love seeing this type of results.
Good getting ready for
I got Hall of
Oklahoma
Fame
City.
diamond and
Hartenstein.
Hall of Fame.
He's checked in for Wiggins. Chet Holmgren comes in for Williams. Dort, he's checked in for Wallace. And SGA subbed in
Oh
for
my
Jones.
God, I
Group
fucking
getting
missed
ready for
I
Memphis.
missed. Oh
Edey's
my
checked in
God,
for
that was
Jackson.
an ugly
Clark
jump
comes in
shot.
for Aldama. Caldwell Pope's checked in for Pippen. And it's Morant in for Jerome.
John
And the
Morant's
basket is good.
trash, dog.
Gilgeous-Alexander's gotten his second bucket.
I love it. His love for the game couldn't be more obvious. It helps him make a positive impact out on the court. And it also keeps the bench fired up. Man, they're having a hard time defending the triple. That's 3 in a row.
Caruso outside.
I
Pass
am.
to Holmgren.
Those
From the
are
arc.
the ball.
The rebound by MP.
You have to credit their effort. I mean, they've done an amazing job on the glass.
Puts up a deep three. And yes, another basket.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I
I mean, he's now
Jack
5th in number of 40-point games over a single season.
Oh, one of the more bankable scores this league has seen. You have to marvel at his consistency. Caruso misses.
It's
Come on,
hard
let me get
not
it.
to want
Oh,
payback
yeah.
when you give up a 3
Oh,
at the
yeah.
other end. They can force you to rush things.
God!
And
Oh,
here's
there you
Dort.
go.
Caruso outside. Let's go with a 3. And Gilgeous-Alexander gets it to go.
How does he got a fucking close up?
Caruso's got 3 assists tonight. MP getting it done for Memphis. He added to his astounding total of 3-pointers in this quarter. He may never have another night like this. More NBA on 2K Sports right after this.
Barbecue, that's what I want. With a brisket. Barbecue team.
My main man.
You gonna let a dude put his meat on your grill?
He's a problem.
Yeah, as good as he is already.
Why'd I do that?
And moving on now to that
Yay.
first half tough sledding so far for the Thunder.
It ain't rocket science.
And that'll do it for us. Thanks for stopping by.
Something wrong? Something wrong with me.
Just about ready for the second half here. A big comeback is needed for this game to be competitive.
Let me pause this shit. I got something in my fucking eye, dog.
Oh, aggro. Oh, aggro. Oh. What do you say?
Hey, you look at
You
MP
thirsty?
in this game. He's been everywhere.
He's factored into their game plan in
Okay,
a big
let's
way
put some
tonight.
more.
He's been a key guy.
Yeah, they've been calling his number a lot, and he's been rewarding their trust.
2 big bodies inside with Holmgren and Hartenstein in the middle. Gilgeous-Alexander runs
You guys
the
the
point
bathroom?
with Dort at the 2.
You go use the
And
bathroom.
it's Williams in at the 3. That's the lineup out
Ooh-wee.
there for the Thunder. Well, most NBA
I'll take that.
That's kind of weird.
teams run their offense through their star player. But Grant, that can leave a team vulnerable when that player has an off night.
You know, in a strange way, it's almost better if your star is out of the game. I know that sounds
That was a good
weird,
pass,
but
yo. That was a good
those
pass.
complementary players get increased
Oh my God, Acro, I got
and are emboldened to do more.
Gilgeous Alexander against Moran, and they'll turn it over. Couldn't get the shot off. A shot clock violation.
No.
Grizzlies lead by 22. And here's MP from outside.
Come back. Let's shoot that. What the fuck, man? All right. I'm sorry. Yo, let's go. Come on, brother. Like, what the fuck? Come on, man. I'm fucking running, and you don't pass the ball, bro. Like, what the fuck, bro? Come on.
I wouldn't pass you the ball either. Just saying.
This nigga here, bro. This nigga here, bro.
Good, and the setup by Morant. Morant's got 6 assists now.
14 points.
1 second.
On the game. Dort outside. Gilgeous Alexander, a screen on Caldwell Pope. Pass to Holmgren, fires for 3. The Grizzlies pull it in.
And right now, they're +8 in the rebounding category. That's helping them run away with this.
Just an electrifying style on the court for John Moran. And Grant, he's not shy when it comes to confrontation.
Oh yeah, no, he's not ducking any smoke. But part of his maturation is choosing his battles, including trying to preserve his body from those fearless forays to the rim.
Holmgren right side. And stolen by Jackson. And now Memphis on the break. Got it again! Sensational!
Sensational!
He cannot be stopped.
It's incredible. He's nearing 2nd overall in career 50-point games and still going strong.
And chasing the incomparable Michael Jordan.
Oh my fucking God.
Comparison alone gives you chills.
And looking at Jalen Williams, is there a part of his game you like best, Grant?
You know, it's tough to pick just one, B.A. He's such an all-around player. He can guard point guards, post players, you name it, and can score from anywhere on the court.
Well, Grant, you look up and down this Thunder roster, it is just loaded with winning players.
Yeah, B.A. Guys who are going to make the right play, defend their spot, move without the ball. I mean, they've built something special in OKC, piece by piece.
Holmgren outside.
Fuck!
For three. Gilgeous-Alexander.
Damn!
Crazy how I didn't jump.
SGA's got 9 points.
All right, they got one on the board in the second half. Now you want to see more shots start to drop.
Good! That's another bucket! Oh, he's been absolutely ridiculous in this game.
BA, it feels like he can't miss.
Back to Gilgeous-Alexander. Hartenstein with a screen on Moran. Moran against Gilgeous-Alexander. And it's Oklahoma City with another.
What?
Looking jumper from the mid-range. I mean,
Go
Gilgeous-Alexander
ahead.
just
I knew
making
that
it
was-
look easy.
MP outside.
What?
The three. And another one.
No, get some water.
60 points. This guy can't be stopped right now.
They've had no answer for him in this one.
Dort outside. Nice ball movement by Oklahoma City.
Ah, fuck me.
And so he draws the foul, headed to the line to shoot a pair. Now we get a chance to check some stats for Isaiah Hartenstein.
Effective field goal percentage is a great way to measure his performance over the previous 10 games. It's been much improved, a sign that his game has been evolving.
For the Thunder, Wiggins, he's checked in for Hartenstein. Caruso comes in for Chet Holmgren. And it's Wallace in for Dort. So Memphis going with an almost entire new group here. Clark is checked in for Edey. Aldama comes in for Jaren Jackson Jr. Pippen, he's checked in for Caldwell Pope. And Jerome subbed in for Moran. Here's the pick. Wallace outside. From downtown, the Grizzlies pull it in. MP's got 7 rebounds in the game.
I can't shoot. I can't do
Takes the
anything.
three. Another three for Memphis.
It's been a dominant night for him, staying productive throughout.
To the inside, and stolen by Jerome. And up the court come the Grizzlies on the break. And here's MP from outside. Knocks it down from distance.
Wow, 5 consecutive threes. This defense looking very frustrated right now.
Williams passes to Wallace. And that time also a missed shot.
Not really what we expected. You know he wants that one back.
Oh, connects again.
What a game from him. 72 points.
And he's been simply sensational throughout this one. Jerome against SGA. Shot clock at 6. Wiggins with a screen on Jerome. From deep, Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, that's
the
bullshit.
other team just looks more in sync and is riding the momentum.
Their body language does not look good right now. They're deflated and unable to stop this run.
And 3 quarters of play in the books. This one's all but over already. Memphis ahead, dominating this one. And we're just moments away from the start of quarter number 4. Stay with us.
They done fucked my shot. 2K done fucked my shot all up. I
And
can't
the moment now
shoot
as
no
we take a
more.
look at our State Farm assist of the game.
Yeah, just shredding the defense with that feed. Zero chance to stop that.
Sanders checked in for Joe. Landale's checked in for Memphis. MP comes in for Conchar. We're just over a minute into this final quarter of play. On the court for the Grizzlies. Ty Jerome is out there with Jalen Wells. Then there's Santi Aldama. Then it's MP. And it's Landale in at the 5, roaming the paint. Oklahoma City's gone 1 for 3 in the 4th quarter from range. On the wing, SGA. He's covered by Jerome. Caruso against MP. Caruso. There's the triple. It's hauled in by Landale.
And their physical dominance has been on display. A 10-rebound advantage is a good indicator of how this game has gone. The defense is nowhere to be found guarding the three-point shot.
Moving along, 2 minutes gone in the fourth. They're searching for a way to score.
Yeah, buckets have been very tough to come by.
SGA passes
Hey, you don't
to
got them
Wallace.
to set me
That's
up
the
with
three
that.
ball to go. Wallace has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three.
And both teams running long-range plays that are working.
Well, you know, it's become a three-point shooting league. Teams shooting a
That's
stellar
you all
distance from
day.
outside.
As the deep shots continue to fall, you can sense the frustration growing among these defenders.
Here's Gilgeous-Alexander. He's got it. 6 of 10 now.
And we've become used to seeing this from Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the most versatile and dominant scoring threats in today's game.
Over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. Pass to MP. Puts up a deep three.
Oh, wow.
Sorber with the rebound.
Fucking gay.
Oklahoma City has got 2 of 5 threes to go here in the fourth. And here's Gilgeous-Alexander. Down low. Sorber, no good.
Come on, dog. You gonna give me a double-double?
He'll bring it up for Memphis.
No.
Jacks up a three. Drains the triple. MP's got 12 now in this quarter.
Yeah, this defense looks absolutely helpless trying to stop MP right now. He's having his way out there.
Outside, Williams. No good from outside.
Come on.
And here's Memphis. They're on a 14-5 run. Tries to save it.
Stupid ass.
It's safe to say they have dominated this game. The game wasn't even as close as the score says, and a great win for the Grizzlies.
And it was a big-time performance across the board. They looked like they were having fun out there, Grant.
Yeah, B.A., it was almost like watching a cat play with a mouse. I mean, they did pretty much anything they wanted to do out there today.
And they increased their win total to 29.
And with just one game left to play between them, they've captured the first 2 meetings of the year.
And when you look at the game, the one thing that helped fuel this team to victory was the efficiency for MP.
Hey, pass me that.
Well, that work he's shown on
Be
the
careful.
glass
Yeah.
has been spectacular. You love to see that as a coach.
Thank you. What's up, cuz?
SGA surveying the D.
I don't know what the funny thing you're talking
Doesn't
about.
go for him. Oh, great D that time from MP.
I don't know what that is. You
Fires
got to
from
find it
deep.
yourself.
And another three
I ain't
from
gonna lie to
Memphis.
you. I don't know
That's
nothing
an
about that
inspiring ball
Fortnite
club.
stuff no more.
They fought hard, and during the most important moments, they made big
I
plays.
don't know about that
Yeah,
Fortnite.
they saved their best basketball for this home stretch, and they certainly earned this one.
And that one's good. SGA.
It doesn't matter what the defense
That was-
does inside.
that was so I could talk to you.
Gilgeous-Alexander was determined to
But
get
I
through.
don't need it.
Now 5
It's
seconds
Messenger
separating the
Kids,
shot clock
man.
and the game
That's all
clock.
it is.
MP shot is off. And here are the Thunder now. Good on the 13-footer.
Well, the defense can't lose track of him.
Okay, I
He's
got
just
you,
too
dog.
talented offensively.
And here's MP from outside. And
Fuck out my
again
face.
for three.
All game long, the threes have been pouring in for him. There is nothing stopping his shot.
And you know this is already a game he'll never forget. He's trying to make it a game the world never forgets. And so it's the Grizzlies taking care of business in this one.
Look, don't
Boy,
find
this
it.
crowd has to be shocked by the way their team was dismantled.
Shocked and surprised.
I'm here with MP, fresh off the win and a double-digit rebounding performance. You talked about the need for this team not only to win games, but to make the other team feel you. Did you do that tonight?
Yeah. This is what I was getting at. We want to be winning playoff games, and that's a whole different beast. So we got to start making teams uncomfortable, refs uncomfortable, rebounding and fouling. Got to bring that edge every night, every game.
That's what you do, MP. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you.